Hey everyone, this is Scott Goldberg, director and writer and producer of The Forest Hills, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 340, where tonight, happy Shark Week, everybody. We are going to be doing our annual Shark Week episode where we will be reviewing Ghost Shark and Under Paris from 2024. Can't remember when Ghost Shark came out. I think it was like
13, I think.
2013.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
There you go. There you have it. Sci-fi original movie back then, and then Under Paris currently available over on Netflix. I'm here, of course, as always, with Steve and Todd. Steve, in honor of Shark Week, we also have a shark-themed interview this week.
We do. It's been a long time since we've had interviews, but we're back, baby. And we did it with Shark Week. So this interview is with the director and two stars of the upcoming film The Last Breath, which comes out the day this episode releases in theaters and on VOD. So that's director Joachim Haden and the two stars of the film, Kim Spearman and Jack Parr. It's a very short interview. We only had 15 minutes, but it was very interesting. This movie, we're going to talk about it a little bit in What Watched. Joe and I both watched it, but it features the final appearance of Julian Sands, who unfortunately passed away last year. He like something happened to him while he went hiking, and then they didn't find him for like months, and finally found his body. I think like I don't know, like 6, 7 months later. So this is his last film, and we talk a lot about kind of what he was like behind the scenes and stuff, and it was really, really interesting. So check it out at the end of the episode.
Very cool. Todd, how are you doing, buddy? What's new?
What's new? I have a joke, but I don't think it'll work, so I'm not gonna say it.
Is it a
But
shark joke?
it's a shark/shark related joke, which I kind of damn it, I
Oh,
just spoiled a little bit.
you
Maybe
did.
maybe I'll bring it in later. I don't know when no
All
one
right.
suspects it. Yeah, I'm doing well, just hanging out, doing my thing. Football's back in full swing, practice, so that's fun. And yeah, nothing really going on.
Very nice. Very nice. Steve, we also got movie club.
We do.
I think the day this episode releases as well,
Yeah,
right?
it's a busy day. It's also the start of the Paris Olympics, the same day
Wow.
that this episode releases, and Comic-Con. So for you Marvel fans, there's gonna be a lot, and Deadpool. There's whole lot of shit happening this day. But yes, there is movie club. Just like Shark Week, we voted for a film to watch this week, and the movie that won is The Reef, which was actually one of the picks that we had to do for this episode, but it actually just missed out on winning the high budget vote. So we're gonna watch it on Movie Club. So come join us. Just join our Discord, and we'll send a link around 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll watch it together, do a little commentary, and have fun.
Very cool. I also want to mention I'm heading to Monster Mania next week. So if anyone is planning on hitting up Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, August 2nd through the 4th, I will be there. Definitely Friday and Saturday. I usually head out early on Sunday, so you probably won't see me if you're heading in Sunday, but I'll be there Friday and Saturday. Always a great time, great convention. So if anyone is planning on attending, drop in, say hi. I'll probably have some Horror Squad stickers and magnets and stuff to give out if I see you. So drop by, say hi if you're going to be there. Alrighty, gentlemen, let's get into the episode now. What you been watching this week?
All right, I'll go first. So Joe and I will finish the segment with The Last Breath, which is the one tied to the interview. But my first one that I watched is 1969's Shark, which I watch over on Plex, which I'm always desperate if I'm watching something on Plex because holy fucking shit, like 3 minute commercials, probably 15 of them in the course of this hour and a half movie. So anyway, so Shark is a story about a drifter who's played by Burt Reynolds, and he's in Sudan of all places, and he's like kind of doing some criminal activity and stuff like that. He's just stealing stuff and just doing nefarious things, and he finds himself kind of without like his stuff, like he kind of botches some kind of thing he was doing, and he's kind of just going around this town. He befriends this little like thief kid who tries to steal his watch, and he kind of, I guess he sees himself in this kid, so he kind of uses the kid to like do other robberies with people in town. But these two people who they want a treasure in a sunken ship, and unfortunately the person that was doing it before passed away because they got eaten. He got eaten by sharks, so they're looking for someone else to go get that treasure, and they hire Burt Reynolds to do that job for them. And that's kind of the story, is Burt Reynolds trying to find a way to get the treasure for himself while also getting the location from the people who also want it. There's a lot of backstabbing and things like that. So this was actually one of the movies that we were voting on. It didn't get that many votes. I think I'd never heard of this one, to be honest with you. I know Todd's the one who had suggested it, but I mean, I figured Burt Reynolds, how bad could it be? And it's not like horrible, but for a movie called Shark, there's very few sharks in it. You know, this is obviously pre-Jaws. There's actually a caption right at the beginning of the film that says that they dedicate the film to all the brave stuntmen who like risked their lives to film this movie, because they had to film with real sharks because they didn't have like budget for animatronics and obviously no CGI in 1969. But still, there aren't that many sharks. I think the shark attack from the beginning and the end is the same footage. Like, I didn't want to go back and look at it, but I'm pretty sure they just used the same footage over because they didn't want to refilm that thing. It's a weird film. It's also very something that would not fly in 2024. Burt Reynolds fucking slugs women in this movie, like just punches them out. It's super weird, and there's some like interesting language used as well throughout the film. Definitely shows its age, but I honestly wouldn't recommend this one. It's just kind of dull for a movie, and there's not much to like talk about. So, but if you do want to watch it, that is Shark over on Plex, and I gave it a 1.5 stars out of 5.
Bummer. I was looking forward to that one, but hey, glad it didn't win then. I really don't have much this week. I got The Last Breath, obviously. Did either of you guys watch the new Beetlejuice trailer? Because I gotta say,
No.
I was more
I did.
excited. I'm more excited now than I was after the first trailer. I think the second trailer was a big improvement. It did probably give away a little too much, but I gotta say I'm looking forward to it now. As before, when Steve and I think it was an episode you weren't on, Todd, but we talked about the first trailer and we kind of were like, meh. But now I'm looking forward to it. What'd you think, Steve?
Is it just me, or were they gloating about the fact that it was almost all practical at one point?
They were.
Because this trailer does not fucking show that at all. Like,
No.
either it's really crazy practical, but if not, it's a lot of CGI, and I was kind of
Right.
surprised by that. Trailers, yeah, definitely better than the first trailer. I still think the teaser was the best anything that came out, just because it really didn't show it, but it showed enough that it was like kind of a sequel coming. I'm excited. I mean, I'll definitely watch it. I'm a little concerned, you know, to be honest. Michael Keaton, he just sounds different. There's something off with the performance. Now, of course, that's basing off a trailer, not off like the actual film. He could be totally fine in the film. It's just the way he's, you know, when you see him in like these short cuts. But I don't know. I guess I'm more cautiously optimistic than I was when it first got announced.
Well, back when you did the first one, he was a younger man. You know, I think the energy, the older you get, I think the energy starts to drop off. But
It's Joe time.
old man Beetlejuice. That'll be Beetlejuice. That'll come
Oh.
out in another 30 years when he's like 90.
An
But yeah.
exorcist.
Non-horror wise, I jump back on The Boys.
Ooh.
Because Anthony Starr is gonna be at Monster Mania, so I'm debating whether I want to meet him or not. I only seen the first season. So I'm rewatching the first season, and I just started season 2. So I mean, great show so far. Does it get better? Does it get worse? What do
Fuck,
you guys?
hold on to your shit. It gets
All right,
crazy
Yeah.
and crazier to the point where you're like, damn, I can't believe they showed that on TV. Well, I
awesome.
guess not TV, but you know, Prime.
Yeah. I love that show.
Yeah, me too.
Except for season 4. But we can discuss that another time. Yeah.
Different show.
Yep. All right, so I had movie week a couple weeks ago with the buddies, the homies Brent and TJ. TJ brought a little Blu-ray called Crabs with exclamation mark. Apparently they watched it like a screener horror hound, and then they got the film because they liked it. But anyway, it's about like a small coastal town, And there's some sand crabs or whatever, like those little weird ones that are fucking flat and they have a bunch of legs and stuff. Those are mutating and becoming gigantic and killing people and things like that. So we follow like this young man. He's in a wheelchair, and that's important to the plot because, you know, he doesn't want to be in a wheelchair and he's like a brainiac and he starts like inventing shit in his garage to try to help him walk and things like that. And then it's got his little girlfriend, and there's some other characters, and they just do a bunch of shenanigans. And eventually, of course, the crabs, like people believe them that there's killer crabs and shit. And then the town starts fighting them and blah, blah, blah. Overall, it's pretty funny, man. Is it going to break any boundaries? No, but it's got like this one character is like a German exchange student or something that is extremely funny. And on paper, someone that I would absolutely hate because he's just doing these like bullshit fucking jokes. But every joke he did was just like, for the most part, hilarious, and I really appreciated it. Practical effects are really dope, and then they do something at the end too, where you know the classic, you know, Godzilla movies where they dress in, you know, it's a man in a costume and they build miniature skyscrapers and stuff. Well, they do that in this one, where a giant crab, and then the boy who makes like this fucking like 100-foot robot. Where the fuck did he build this at? In his stupid 10 by 10 garage? That's what they lead you to believe. But anyway, so the robot and the monster, they fight, and it's really fucking cool because it's just like that classic Godzilla fighting, like I said. So pretty fun movie overall. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. That is on a Blu-ray, but I believe this one is on Tubi, if I remember correctly. Let me verify that right now. It is on Tubi, so check it out. Yeah, so another one from the movie night here. This is Brent's pick. It's The Collection, sequel to The Collector, which I had never watched before. I had started it years ago, didn't finish it, and man, I'm like bummed that I didn't watch this sooner because it's fucking really cool, dude. It takes everything The Collector did and just quadruples it, right? Bigger set pieces, bigger kills, more blood, more victims, more elaborate shit happening. Basically, the plot is and I don't want to spoil the original too much, but a returning character is in the sequel, and now he's enlisted because he's a survivor. He's enlisted by this rich guy whose daughter's gone missing to like lead his like, you know, hitmen group or special forces, fucking cops, whatever you want to call them, into the killer's lair, because if he got out, he can get my daughter out, right? So he leads this group to his lair that's like an abandoned hotel, and it's fucking cool as hell because he has a hotel trapped, and there's like previous victims in there that are kind of gone feral, and the blood is just off the walls. It's fucking really cool. I guess one of 4 out of 5, man. Like I am very surprised they haven't made a finish to this trilogy because my gosh, Collection and Collector are fucking really cool, and I want more. So that's 4 out of 5. The Collection over on Blu-ray.
It's a bummer the third one never made it out.
Yeah, it is. That's
Yeah.
those cool ass movies.
I think it was COVID that did it in too. I feel like COVID they had to shut down production, and then they just like couldn't get money again to like restart it up. So there's actually like props out there from like the third one, like the screen use mask I've seen come up for
That's
sale
cool.
recently and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see if it ever makes it out. Those movies deserve more credit though, man. They are so good, and you never hear anyone talk about them.
Agreed.
All right, so let's do The Last Breath. So this one obviously releases the day that this episode comes out in theaters and on VOD. So this is the story of a ship that is shot down during World War II, and then the story fast forwards to today, and it's this guy. He's friends with Julian Sands, who's like a kind of an avid diver, and he's kind of teaching him the ropes and stuff like that. And they're kind of looking for treasure in different sunken ships in the ocean, kind of going like by grid. And on what is one of their last dives, he finds this ship that's sunk in World War II, and they want to explore it and stuff like that. But it turns out that Julian Sands, even though he means well, he hasn't been paying off the ship and stuff like that, and he could lose the ship, so he won't be able to kind of do anything with it. So the guy's friends come to visit him, and he convinces one of his rich friends to fund the ship so that they can go out and go after this like giant warship that's in the ocean. But he doesn't really want to do it for various reasons, but he does convince him to do it. So they all go on this expedition to look at this warship. But of course, there are sharks down there, and the story is basically this big group of divers who are trying to escape the ship before the sharks kill them. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I thought it was enjoyable. The movie is really impressively mostly takes place underwater, and the ship itself plays this really cool character as well because you feel kind of claustrophobic. They're also starting to run out of air, and you got these sharks that are constantly going after them. There's also a lot of gore. Like the movie doesn't skimp out when it does do kills and stuff like that. So that was awesome. My only kind of complaint is that it's slow at times because it is all in basically dark tunnels, and they keep kind of bobbing up to the surface of the same room over and over to get air and stuff like that. So I think it could have been maybe a little bit shorter, but still I think it's an enjoyable film. And Julian Sands is great in it. I like his character. And even though I'm not going to spoil it, obviously it's a new movie, but like his last scene is a little bit goofy. I think it's a cool way for him to kind of cap off his really incredible career. And yeah, I was sad to kind of see him, but nice to see him as well. So, Joe, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a mixed bag for me. It's definitely like watchable, and there are like way worse shark movies you can watch out there. I love the sort of shipwreck setting that they do for the majority of the movie. I do think it takes a little too long to get going though. I mean, I actually timed it because I was like just seeing where we're at. And like you don't really get to like the first shark attack until like over 50 minutes into the movie. So it just takes a little wait like too long to get going. They spend a little too much time sort of doing setup. But once you get down underwater and into like the shipwreck stuff, I found that to be the most enjoyable part. I could have used a little more shark carnage personally. I think there could have been a little more shark attacks, but when the sharks do attack, it's entertaining. Obviously it's like a lower budget, so like the shark CGI isn't the best, but it's also not the worst either. We'll get into Ghost Shark later. But overall, yeah, I mean it was decent. I think Julian Sands is definitely like the best like actor in this movie and the best part of the movie. The ending is very corny though, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, overall decent. Like I didn't hate myself for watching it. Is it something I would overly recommend? No. But I think if you were like a hardcore shark movie fan, I think you'll definitely get some enjoyment out of this one. So yeah, I personally would give it a 2.5 out of 5.
And I gave it a 3 out of 5. I love shark movies, so I thought this, yeah, like you said, this is definitely better than a lot of them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, cool.
What was the name of that again?
The Last Breath.
Oh, okay.
And don't forget, stick around for the interview. I actually wasn't in on this interview, Steve. So it was the director, and who were the two actors in this one?
Jack Parr and Kim Spearman. So it was the main two people.
The main two. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Man, that
All right,
cover
cool.
art is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are so cool.
Shark movies, you can say a lot about them, but fucking covers
they're on
they're
point,
like the goats, man. Like,
I gotta find who does the covers on TV, man. The guy's killing it.
It's probably like one guy, right? Like he does all these fucking shark covers, and he is just the best. Yeah.
Definitely. Alrighty. Well, that's
Cool.
all we got then for what watch. So Todd, bust out the books, baby. It is time for the return of trivia since you abandoned us last week.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. All right. Q3, quarter number 3. Joe in a lead with 6. Steve and I both tied at 4 apiece. Any man's game. I will lead off tonight with some fun information from IMDb.
Fun.
There may be a theme tonight. We'll see. To steal from Joe's book here, clocking in an hour 53 minutes. If anyone ever guesses it based on the runtime, automatic win for the year. 1 hour 53 minutes. PG-13. Some of the supporting cast are Bing Bing Lee, Cliff Curtis, who everyone knows once you see his picture.
I know it is. Yeah.
Winston Chow, Ruby Rose, and Mr. Page.
Oh, it's the Meg 2.
Oh, Joe got it right.
Woo!
It's the Meg 1.
I thought she was in 2.
Nice.
No, she's in 1. She's fucking terrible, dude. Wasn't she
we'll
Batwoman for a little while?
Yeah, she was.
Batgirl or something?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joe on the board early.
Alrighty. I will go next. 3 letterboxed reviews. Let's see.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
About the Meg? I didn't get to say my favorite little bit of thing, but it's like Probably my favorite director name of all time, man. John Turtletab.
Nice.
I fucking love that name, dude.
Turtle Tab making a shark movie.
Turtle Tab. I don't know, but it sounds
Turtle
fucking
Man.
cool. I got it.
All right, 3 letterbox reviews. Can you guess the movie?
Oh.
All right. Number 1. If the locals won't tell you what the beach is called, it's probably called Shark Attack Bay.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
Number 2. And this is actually extremely true. You can look it up after we watch this.
Shark Attack Bay?
After
That one?
No. This next one I got is actually true.
Oh.
Thank God the Seagull is listed as a cast member for this movie. His work was quite integral to the film.
Seagull. Okay.
Look it back.
And number 3. Almost no men in sight, just a girl and her shark.
The Shallows?
The Shallows.
The
yeah.
Shallows, yes.
I struggled with
I
that
couldn't hear
name.
who said it first. But...
No, I didn't say anything. I was
Okay.
struggling with the name.
Okay.
So I had
Steve
it.
got it.
I had it.
All right. Guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide. We start with some sex and, oh yes, some nudity.
Oh, interesting.
Blake poses fully nude in an art class,
Oh.
and we see his bare shoulders, back,
Buttocks, come on,
buttocks,
yes.
and legs while he winks at the female students.
Oh,
Herb.
he's got his dong out.
Violence and gore. A shark bumps the ski that Malik is on, causing him to fall in the water, and when the boat comes back around to get him, they cannot find him until he is shown on the shore with one arm missing.
Shark Night.
That is correct.
Yes. Good
We
movie.
reviewed that.
We did.
Yep. I don't remember the male posing scene
It's
though.
the first scene, I think.
What if you have like a bad wiener day and you're just, hey, you're supposed to be the male model,
Yeah,
but not today. Is
Bad wiener day.
Make sure they don't
Yeah,
have the
didn't it?
AC
Yeah.
cranking. Yeah, make sure they don't have the AC cranking.
Don't pretend it doesn't fluctuate, Steve. You got a bad wiener day sometimes. You know, it's hot, it's cold. You know,
I
it's got a
agree.
mind of its own.
I've seen, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Some
Joe's seen
days are better than others.
I was in the pool.
I seen
I was
it.
in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Also, an IMDb parental guide.
Hmm.
PG-13.
Oh my.
Sex and nudity. Women are shown in bikinis and men are shown with their shirts off. A little bit of kissing.
Naturally,
That's it. That's all
at
I
a
got.
beach.
That's all we have for sex and nudity. Is dudes with their shirts off, bikinis, and some kissing.
Beautiful.
All right. Let's go to alcohol and drugs. Frequent drinking in the beginning of the film, proving that alcohol is how to have fun. Profanity, 1 use of the word fuck, and 2 uses of shit. Frightening and intense scenes. One of the sisters exits what they are in and is almost attacked by sharks. She has a close call getting back into the blank, and the shark attacks it. A character lights up a flare and is revealed
Roll
that
Jaws.
Incorrect.
Mm.
A character lights up a flare and it is revealed that 3 sharks are circling them in the dark. All right, let's get some gore in here. Violence and gore. A man goes to rescue the women, but is attacked and eaten as he meets with one of them. Blood is seen in the water, and his dead body is seen shortly after. The character grabs a harpoon and pulls it toward them. Their hand gets sliced in the process, and blood is seen. And lastly, a woman pulls her leg out from being trapped under the blank, and the metal scrapes her skin and leaves a long, bloody wound.
I'll get one
Reef.
more guess after. Oh.
Sure. What is it?
The Reef.
Incorrect.
Shark Exorcist.
Incorrect. I wish.
I have no idea.
This one is 2 sisters attacked by sharks. 47 meters down. Mandy Moore. Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't
Awful
watched that one in a
fucking
long time.
Seen it.
Don't even bother.
Don't remember much about it.
Yeah, the second one was good.
I was like, I feel like the
Uncaged
second one
or
was
something like
better.
that?
Yeah.
The one where it's like a blind shark
Yes, I
in like
think
a cave
so.
or something. Yeah, I
Yes.
thought
It's in the
it was better
cave,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty. Trivia.
Okay.
All right. IMDb trivia.
Not true.
Hmm.
We are playing trivia. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Eli Roth was attached as director for this movie.
Hmm.
Roth, although left due to creative differences with
The
studio,
Meg.
it is. You must
Really?
have seen this.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I remember that because I
Let
read
me-
the books. Oh, go ahead.
This is pretty interesting. So Roth left due to creative differences with the studio, namely because he wanted the film to maintain both its R rating and a $150 million budget. It was
Ooh.
also rumored.
Jeez, dude.
It was also rumored that Roth, on top of writing and directing, also wanted to play the lead role of Jonas, but the studio believed he did not have the star power.
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
The only reason I know that is because I read the books and they're super fucking violent. And when Roth was attached, I'm like, oh hell yeah! But then we
That
got
would've been
what we got.
awesome.
Yeah, $150 million.
That's crazy. I mean,
Fuck.
honestly, like the budget probably was close to that. Like,
You think? Let's
I
look
don't-
this up.
they had a lot of star power in that movie, plus like the CGI on the
Statham.
man. It couldn't have been. It had to have been at least 100 million, right?
Yeah,
I'm
Rainn
thinking.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Was good.
Yeah,
All right.
it's wild,
Uh,
man.
Guess the movie based off the IMDb Did You Know section.
Okay.
I'm going to start with goofs because this one made me laugh. Sometimes the shark is clearly a dolphin. Tagline. This time, it's even more personal than last time.
Hmm.
Huh.
This is the trivia. Although it was not intended to have a shark on set, there's still a leak that the crew had actually built a mechanical shark for the film, but ended up broken up after multiple problems, and there was no money left to build another shark, so the crew went without a shark.
Hmm.
Hence the dolphins, probably.
Yeah.
And finally, and probably the giveaway, quotes. We're going to need a bigger helicopter.
Roll Jaws.
Jaws.
It is Squirrel Jaws.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. I was just looking up the Meg trivia here. It is, yeah, 130 mil budget, man.
Yeah. So
Gee whiz.
just give Eli another 20 mil and you'd be
Come
right.
on.
But I agree. Like Eli starring in that, like
Nah.
over. I don't know if
No.
it would have worked.
Yeah, he was fine in Bastards because he played that specific character.
Also, it's also kind of a small role, right? It's not like he's
That's true.
headlining the film.
Right.
That movie killed, dude. 529 million worldwide.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How did the Meg 2 do, I wonder? Like,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think nearly as well.
I have you guys seen the Meg 2 yet?
I've yet to see it.
I liked Meg 2.
I like the poster with like the dog or something.
It was solid.
Pretty
Like,
cool.
Might need to add it for next week's
Yeah.
next year's Shark Week movie.
Let me look it up real quick here. How did the Meg 2 do? It did 129 budget, and it's pretty respectable, 397 mil.
That's pretty
that's,
good.
A little-
yeah, I'd take that as a fucking
little drop-
profit.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's a drop off though from 5 something.
yeah, but still,
Most
like,
sequels
more
do,
than doubled its money, you know? So
Right.
That's true.
probably do third one.
You liked it though, huh? Was it better or worse or on par? with
I liked
number
it
one?
more. It had more fun with it, I thought.
Sweet.
Mhm.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, we are going back to the parental guide,
Hmm.
and this film came out in 1987, my birth year.
Hmm.
And we'll start with sex and nudity. In one scene, a woman and her husband are in the bedroom, and the woman who's in the bed launches her underwear at him like a slingshot. Presumably they had sex, but there's no nudity.
Presume.
Imagine just like a dirty ass underwear with a turd just flying through the air.
Ooh.
Violence and gore.
Hershey squirts.
For Shark Week, am I right?
Yes.
Sharks.
Yeah, there you go. You got it in.
I got it. All right. Violence and gore. Several bloody scenes, but overall not as violent as the other entries. Several shark attacks show graphic blood and gore, but most of it looks fake. A man's arm is bitten off at the start before he is repeatedly attacked further.
Is there a shark movie where a man's arm is not bitten off? Is the
I
real
mean, you
question.
gotta bite off an arm. It's like
Yeah.
required. Or a leg. A woman is attacked by a shark while swimming. However, this is revealed to be a nightmare.
Is it Jaws the Revenge?
It is Jaws
Yeah.
Revenge. Yeah.
Good
Nice.
one. That's two? Is that two?
4.
Four.
Four.
Yeah.
Okay. What's two called?
Fantastic film.
Is two just called Jaws 2
Just 2, yeah.
And 3D for the third one.
and Jaws 3D?
Yeah,
All right.
Gosh, those movies take a steep dive, man.
they do. Yeah.
All righty. Last one.
Let's do it.
Guess the movie based on the IMDb information. And I am going so slow because I'm still pulling it up. Okay. This movie was released in the year 2014 with a rating of TV 14.
Oh,
Perhaps a little giveaway.
Okay,
Oh,
a
yeah.
TV movie.
Yes. Clocking in at 1 hour and 35 minutes. Categories: action, adventure, comedy, horror, sci-fi, and thriller. Currently sitting at a 4.0 out of
Wow.
10 on
Oh,
IMDb.
never mind. I thought it was on Letterboxd.
No. Director Anthony Ferrante.
Ah,
And I never throw in the writer, but I just like his name. Writer Thunder Levin.
whoa! I like
Quite
that.
a
That's
name.
cool.
Yeah,
Get him on the pod, man. Is he a
shark
porn
movies
star too?
apparently good. Good names.
Cast: Vivica A. Fox,
Oh,
Oh.
banging.
Mark McGrath.
Mark from Sugar Ray.
Yeah. Kurt Angle,
Oh my
Kurt
word, this is
Angle.
a good
Oh,
one.
I don't think I've seen this.
Billy Ray Cyrus,
Jesus Christ.
and Downtown Julie Brown.
Holy
Your
crap.
MTV VJ people
Um,
there. Tagline: Shark happens.
did you leave out any actors? Like-
I left out the
Okay,
two.
is it
two-
Sharknado?
Two of them. It is not.
Oh, you
First
bitch!
shark.
Fucking asshole. How many are there? Like fucking 9? I've never seen a single one.
I have the pack. I have the fucking steel book of the whole series.
Oh my gosh. Well, throw out a number, Steve. Get a shot here.
I'll just go Sharknado 2.
Correct. It is
Fuck.
Sharknado 2.
I was just guessing.
Wow.
Like, there's really a 25% chance of me getting it there.
How many are there? 4?
5, I think.
4?
I
There's
think it's a
There's
5-pack.
at least 5. Yeah.
Tara Reid's in the.
Chris
Yeah, I was
Jericho
gonna say,
comes in
and
it.
I left out, of course, Ian Ziering and Tara Reid, the
Wow.
two.
Are
main
they worth a watch?
No,
by yourself.
I fucking hate. See, the problem with those is that they're trying too hard to be like a low budget shark movie, you know, and it comes off just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's good, you know.
I might have talked about this before, but I was reading a really really interesting article where the reason bad/good movies were what they were is because they shot on film,
Mhm.
and like indie guys and lower budget films couldn't afford to like reshoot scenes, you know. So if they made like a fuck up or they cut it too short or whatever, it's like, hey, we fucking gotta move on. We don't have endless budget for film. So like that's what kind of made things enduring. Like he's like Samurai Cop's a good example. Like that movie fucking sucks, but it's still hilarious. Samurai Cop 2 tries to be Samurai Cop 1,
Yeah,
but it's
right.
shot on digital. So like, yeah, they intentionally making it bad, but those guys just like in the first one, just like, hey, we fucked up, moving on, whatever. So I think it's a good point, man. Like,
I don't necessarily agree though, because I think there are some good bad movies like in the last
Yeah.
5. I think it's just like it's people. There's just like a level of people just trying things to make it work within the zero budget that they have. Whereas Hollywood film that does like Sharknado, they have the budget and they just, I don't know, they're trying too hard and it just comes off wrong in my
well, where
opinion.
would you compare it though to? Like, I see your point too. Good point. Like Sharknado obviously has a couple $1 million budget,
Yeah.
and it's fucking awful. But then
Mhm.
you have Shark Exorcist, which has like a $1,500 budget, still awful.
Yeah,
But
which
which
I
one
think
would
is
you prefer?
$1,400 on fucking alcohol,
Yeah.
$100 in the film
On the girl's bikini that he sold on indie, but whatever. But both awful for different reasons. But which one would you prefer? Sharknado? I mean, Sharknado intentionally being stupid, or Shark Exorcist?
Shark Exorcist is particularly bad.
Sharknado
like,
for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, like if you pick something that's slightly better than Shark
Sharks of the
Exorcist,
Corn.
So
that's fucking bad too.
great artwork though.
Yeah.
Great art. We got to get that guy, man. That
Like-
guy's fucking sick.
Like, just like small spoiler, if you compare Ghost Shark to Sharknado, I'd watch Ghost Shark any day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I actually would
Yeah.
agree.
I agree too. Even though I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But Sharknado, I just think it's cool to see the cameos. Is basically, and if you're gonna watch one of those, I'd watch La Valantula, which I thought was better.
What the fuck?
And
Wow.
they even like Ian Ziering from Sharknado meets up with the dude from La Valantula at some point, and
Who the
they
fuck
like
is Ian Zerzik? You guys? who's
He's
that?
from not Beverly Hills 90210 was like his big
Oh, the blonde dude.
name. Yeah.
Okay.
Steve.
And
Steve
I
Sanders.
think Steve Gutenberg plays the lead in Level Angela. Yeah. Anyway.
I love it.
All right.
What
Final
about
question.
Clownado though?
Oh
Have
god,
you
that was
Steve's
bad.
seen it.
I saw it. That was so fucking bad.
What about Catnado?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the new
watching
big
that.
thing coming out.
Yeah.
You watch
Catnado.
it.
I'm still watching
Stop.
that as
Stop.
soon as it
Cat-
comes out.
Catnado Wild Eye releasing, which always
Yeah.
turns
Oh, the gem.
out the best movies. So, all right,
Yeah.
we got one more, Steve. I didn't
We
even
do.
know.
Yeah, I got my final one here. All right, this is a regular question. The Reef is the movie that was voted on to be shown at the Mex Movie Club this month. What's the name of its sequel?
The Reef 2.
No.
I was like, that'd be too obvious. I feel.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. The Coral.
Wrong.
The Reefer.
That's what it should've
Reefer
been.
Madness.
Yeah.
Big Reef. Uh,
I can't say I've seen it.
The Reef
I
2.
still haven't even seen The Reef.
Underwater.
That's why it was my pick.
No. So
Two Reef, 2 series.
the answer was The Reef Stalked.
What
Reef
the fuck does that
stocked.
even mean? The Reef stalked? Like
stalked.
stock as in stalking
Like
the pool?
the
or-
shark is stalking. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's
stalking.
dumb. That is stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I don't like
Restock.
that name.
All right. Good showing all around here. Steve with the lead though, with 3 points. Joe and I tied at 2, which brings us to Joe still in the lead with 8, Steve at 7, myself at 6 for quarter number 3. Podcast, trivia, horror, in that order. All right.
All righty, gentlemen. Well, let's get into it then. Our main events of the evening. We starting with Ghost Shark, I assume. All right, let's start off with our low budget shark movie first, which is Ghost Shark from the year 2013. Plot. When rednecks on a fishing trip kill a great white shark, its spirit comes back for revenge and soon turns its sights on the town of Smallport. Todd, we didn't have you last week, but I gotta say,
Did
Steve.
you guys do okay with it? Steve took it away?
Steve took it away. He gave a great plot.
Oh, nice.
So you got a lot of pressure on you this week because you don't just got one plot synopsis this week. You got to do 2. But let's hear your synopsis.
I will
of
do my
Ghost
best. I will do my best. Ghost Shark. All right. So there's some random people on a boat, right? And one of them says the amazing line of, if I wanted any lip from you, I'd pull down your panties. So right away, I was riveted to this star caliber, Oscar winning screenplay. They're doing some kind of like fishing competition where there's like a deadline that they have to beat. He's like, if you don't fucking catch that fish right now or whatever, I'm not going to count it. You're going to lose. And he's, they're trying really hard, but it's a great white. All right. And they injure it by pouring hot sauce and a grenade into its mouth, which is very interesting. They wound it, it goes off, right? And it goes into a cave and dies. This cave looks like it's taken straight from whatever local amusement park they have, because I guarantee they filmed this in a fucking amusement park, like Magic Mountain kind of thing, because like you can tell the paths look like it, all that shit, pretty cool. The cave has a bunch of runes, right? And they're all painted and they start glowing and shit. Lo and behold, the shark comes back to kill. We then move on to a group of youngsters. They're partying on the beach, right? We have an old dude that lives in like a what do you call those fucking things? Lighthouse, and he looks like Dale from The Walking Dead. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he looks just like him. And then we try to get into like local legend of like, did the guy murder his wife at this little cave thing? I don't know. We'll find out. The shark can go into pools. It can go into puddles. It can go in the fucking rain. It can go in your bathtub. Nowhere is safe. This shark's 12 feet long or whatever, but it's in a bathtub. How does that work? I don't know. We'll see. Ghost Shark is terrible, man. I fucking hated it. I hate that this one of these movies won because it's stupid. Overall, I thought it was awful, but is it worse than Sharknado? I don't know because I've never seen it, but I did enjoy it because there are actually some really funny kills in this that I really appreciated they went with it. So Ghost Shark is not gonna, be a perfect 5 out of 5 by any means, but it's a fun movie overall.
Yeah, I was not looking forward to watching this at all, honestly. But I gotta say, this movie surprised me. Is it a good movie? No, but I mean, once I like started watching it, I was like, oh, this is definitely like I didn't even know right away, but I was like, this is definitely like a sci-fi like movie that was like on TV at one point. It just had that feel to it. And so it was like one of those movies where they knew it was bad going in, but I gotta say, like, I had so much fun watching this movie. It is like one of the better bad like shark movies I've seen. I think the idea of the ghost shark was awesome. The fact it could just go into any like body of water was great. It was such a cool idea, something you don't see often. I thought the look of the ghost shark was actually pretty cool. I mean, could they have done cooler with it? Sure, but I liked how it was kind of like see-through and stuff like that. And the kills were surprisingly fucking like fantastic. Like, and surprisingly, were not scared to go to some fucking crazy territory with this, like just killing a ton of kids like on the street and shit like that. It's fucking wild, and it's surprisingly pretty damn gory for like a movie that was like straight to video. So yeah, and it's like actually I found the storyline to be somewhat compelling for a movie this bad, like for a bad movie like this. Like I like the fact that like there was like shit like random like cult stuff or whatever it was going on in the cave. I believe Roanoke is mentioned at one point. Like there was like this cult thing going on in the cave and stuff. I was like, this is kind of cool. So yeah, surprisingly, like I actually had so much fun watching this, and the dude from Night Court's in it. And for people who that Todd just mentioned, a few Night Court fans, the dude who kind of looked like Dale, from Walking Dead. He's like the bailiff dude in Night Court, which I used to watch a lot in my youth. So it was cool to see him in here. I believe this is like one of his last movies too. I feel like he passed away shortly after this movie. So yeah, overall, surprisingly, it's a bad movie, but it's a good bad movie.
Yeah, so this was my pick. When I pick shark movies, I just basically try to find a ridiculous plot and make sure it's not directed by Mark Polonia because he's like the worst. So yeah, I was surprised. I was actually telling the guys offline that I was kind of hoping this wouldn't win because I wasn't too sure about it. But now that I saw it, I fucking had a blast watching it. I'm kind of sad this wasn't picked for movie club because it's one of those films that just would be a ton of fun to watch with people because like you guys said, man, they don't fucking hold back. And this was on TV. That shocks me because they like kill all sorts of fucking, like you said, kids and shit. Like there's a big kid who goes through a slip and slide and a shark just
That's my
fucking
favorite
eats
kill, dude.
him. It's hilarious. Then probably one of my favorite scenes, this fucking kid steals a car and he has a shirt that says honk if you're horny. And the only reason he steals the car is to go to a bikini car wash so he can look at the girls in the bikini. But then the girls get massacred by the shark. So he's in the car and all his blood's like flying everywhere and body parts. Like this movie's fucking wild. And there's so many of these fun kills throughout the movie that I wasn't like ever really all that bored, which is surprising for such a low budget film. I think this movie just had fun with the premise. Yeah, the ghost shark looks fucking ridiculous, but it worked for this movie because it was like the shark could be anywhere, like you guys said, and it was entertaining for that reasons. Now they telegraph the kills as to like these kids are fucking playing in the fire hydrant. Of course they're gonna get their asses chomped off, but it was great. I had so much fun with this one.
Fuck those kids, dude. Let's talk about the fire hydrant kids, man. Complete fucking pieces of shit, right? They're just blocking the road. They start like literally this 7-year-old kid starts like flexing his muscles on the guy. He's like, guys, get out of the road. They're like, please get out of the road. And they're just fucking like they're gonna assault them over this. And I'm like, thank God the shark came because he killed them, and I appreciated that. Yeah, Tubi is amazing because if you watch it on mobile, you can hit it at 1.5 speed. So like you get to watch the movie in 45 minutes opposed to an hour and a half. I'm glad you guys had a good time with it, man, because I did when the kills were happening, but everything else, I was just like, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I was just bored out of my mind. But the kills are fucking really cool. You mentioned my favorite already, slip and slide kill, which is really funny. But like when the guy in the pool, he gets his head launched in the air and it falls and lands on like a beer bottle. Just like, I don't know, man. It would have been hell of a good time to be on that set with these people. And they had a $1.8 million budget for this. I'm like, whoa, like that's, hey, all the power to you.
Yes, I don't know where that money went, honestly, because the CGI was pretty terrible and whatnot. Yeah, man, like Steve said, I mean, I think my favorite scene is easily the kid stealing the fucking car. Like he's like you get like a 12-year-old kid just and then like just the fact the shark can just appear out of fucking anywhere as long as there's a like any sort of water involved, I thought was so cool. It's something I've actually never seen before, and it was such a creative way to get the shark always involved some way, somehow. I do agree with you, Todd, though. Like the acting in this is atrocious. Like it is really bad. Specifically the mayor who like he like really hams it up with this like weird like southern accent, and it's just like really bizarre.
Yeah, the mayor
Um
was fucking a nightmare, dude.
yeah,
I hated him.
he was really bad.
You're not gonna
And then
close my bed or whatever.
yeah.
Fucking like, shut up, man.
And then like it was weird. And then like all of the main actors are pretty bad here. So I do agree, like when the shark isn't on screen and killing people, I did hit like the fucking 10-second skip to get through a little bit of it. I'm not gonna lie.
There he is.
But man, when the shark is involved, like which is actually quite a lot in this
Yeah.
movie, it's fucking great. Like this is the perfect movie to watch with a group of friends. Like like Steve said, like a movie club night. This would have been like the perfect choice. Like watching by yourself, I still had fun, but I feel like this is like with a crowd, this is like the perfect like just fucking sip on some fucking drinks and just laugh your ass off with your friends type movie.
I agree. I can see this being a huge hit with the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Um, I
Like
know, I'm gonna take it back though. My favorite kill was actually the toilet kill, which was surprisingly like super gory and bloody. And I was like, wow, this is fucking legit. Now I'm gonna think about a shark being in the fucking toilet now because of this. Like, it's ridiculous.
What I liked about that one is they even revisit like his corpse later. Like the guy goes into the toilet and he sees the guy like his fucking legs are sticking out of the toilet and his face and shit. Yeah, they had a few like practical. A lot of the kills were CGI. Like the body would be like ripped in half, and you'd see kind of CGI blood at kind of the crotch area. But yeah, that kill was mostly practical. The fucking pool kill had some practical effects in it with the head like falling. So it had a nice mix of both, and I appreciate it for that. Now, of course, there's some fucking goofy shit in this as well. The whole thing with the wife to me was super dull, especially when she comes up as a ghost at some point. And it's hard to root for someone that you find out like fucking killed his wife. And the teens who are like kind of doing the whole thing with them and trying to get the shark seems so nonchalant about it. Like he confesses that he killed his wife, and they're like, "Oh, you strangled your wife." Well, okay, well, let's go kill the shark now. Like, that's a big fucking deal, But I don't know. It was a weird story, but I guess I was so entertained by the rest of it that it was more acceptable.
Yeah, I mean the whole lighthouse keeper stuff was completely unnecessary. They totally could have gotten that. Like just the shark, like they could have found a different way to incorporate like all they needed was just that cave, right? Just sort of like a magical cave that the shark died in. He gets fucking resurrected as a ghost and just fucking go from there. So yeah, like that was a little dull. I do agree with that. I also want to mention the kill with the plumber who's fucking doing the plumbing under the sink, and the shark fucking kills him through the pipe of the sink, which was great too, man. This movie, yeah, like the fucking gore was surprisingly great. Yeah, man, and then it just at the end is awesome when it just starts raining and the shark can just fucking fly through the rain, which I thought was cool as hell too. Like there's just never any reprieve from the shark, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah, and apparently via IMDb trivia, they made the shark to look like Bruce the shark from Jaws. So
Yeah,
fun.
he does. He definitely
Yeah.
does. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, people need to have a double feature of this and Cruel Jaws. I think it would be
Yeah.
Oh my
a
gosh,
fucking
Cruel
fun
Jaws
night.
just slaps, dude. So good.
I know. So I just read that because I was looking for like trivia questions before, and I was looking at the Cruel Jaws trivia. Did you know that I think it's Severin put out a disc and also a novel version of Cruel Jaws? Which man, I gotta get that now.
Yeah,
I have
they're
the
doing
I
a
have the
lot of
4K,
novels.
but I
Yeah.
want to do the I want to get that novel.
Yeah, they're doing quite a bit of novels now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
For these like low budget movies.
There's like a period where they kind of stopped that, but I guess it's getting a revival.
How does Ghost Shark get defeated at the end of this? I
Oh,
like already
stupid.
forget.
That's
It was
probably the
like
worst
2 or 3 days
fucking part of the
ago
movie.
when I watched it, but I already
So
forget.
there are two ghost sharks at one point. The
Oh,
first
that's
one
right.
she defeats with an arrow. So the fucking girl goes into the ocean with an arrow and then waits for the shark to go
Oh,
after
that's
it.
right. Yeah.
And she like dives into it and fucking kills it, which
Was it a
makes
magic arrow
no
or something?
sense. No, it makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Yeah, and the second one, it's because they blew up the body which killed the
Oh.
ghost of the
Oh,
shark.
and they blew up the fucking
The
cave,
cave.
right?
They blew up the cave, which
Yeah.
had the body in it, which took away, which makes more sense than the
Yeah.
stupid fucking arrow that they had before. And then it's funny because at the end of that, so the cave blows up. The three like stars of the film kind of are swimming away from the cave, and they're talking about like, oh, our friend died, and they're like, ha, like who cares? Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah, they swim like out to the ocean, don't
Yeah.
they?
Well, they're going back to because the
Oh,
cave's like on where the island is for
got
the
it.
lighthouse. But yeah, it's just like they seem so happy about it, like, and they're actually mentioning that their friends are fucking dead and stuff, and they just don't give a shit. It was weird. It's a weird ending.
Yeah, I noticed at one point a girl dives into the water and it's like 3 inches of water. I'm like, I get it. She just belly flops on it. I'm like, holy God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean the story itself doesn't fucking make any sense. That's for sure. I mean, one of the sisters gets attacked in the shower, and she gets like a
Okay.
scratch
That's
basically.
great.
But all the other fucking victims are like eaten in half, and like their heads pop off and shit like that. So yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up for Ghost Shark. I mean, it's Ghost Shark. I mean,
Shark,
what
not a
else
lot
can you
to
really
it.
say about it? I'll start us off. Yeah, man. Like I said, I think it's fun, man. I had so much fun watching it. It's a bad movie. Don't get us wrong. Like I think we can all agree it's a bad movie, but it's I think it's supposed to be a bad movie, right? It's fucking called Ghost Shark. So as far as a rating goes, if I were to rate this on like a bad shark movie scale, I'm giving it like a solid 3.5 out of 5. Like, but as a actual movie scale, I'm still gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5 because I actually think there's a lot of fun to be had with this one. The gore is fucking on par, and they were not, and it was creative. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Do we remember our bad shark movie choices from the past? Shark Exorcist, Sharks of the
Sharks of the
Corn.
Corn.
Sharks of the Corn, Cruel Jaws.
Cruel Jaws was the bad one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
Oh my
Shark.
gosh.
We liked it more than we did Jaws 3D the same year, and we
Yeah.
liked it more than Jaws 3D.
Okay. All right. I was gonna
Yeah.
say this is like the best of the bad ones we watched, but not Cruel Jaws. Cruel Jaws is fucking dope. Yeah, for the same exact reasons Joe mentioned, man. I think it's pretty fun when it's the kills happening. And I can see that they had a lot of passion in this project. I just can't imagine how fun they had on set. But that being said, it's still a movie you gotta rate, honestly, and I gave it a 2 out of 5 because everything else was just not good. And especially like you guys already mentioned, didn't need the wife murder subplot at all. It slowed the movie down. But the kills are fucking cool, especially some of like the random ass shit, fire hydrant, toilet, fucking puddles. That stuff is worth the price of admission. So 2 out of 5.
And just to finish off, the Jersey Shore Shark Attack was last year's that movie, which also was surprisingly not the worst. For this movie, I fucking had a blast watching this. I had so much fun watching this. Maybe I'll put it up for movie club like next year, once so I could rewatch it, and then some people could maybe discover it for the first time. But you shouldn't wait that long. You should watch it right away. It's on Tubi. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Look, I had so much fucking fun watching it. Yes, the story's goofy. It's not objectively a good movie, but I'd rewatch it because it's fun and it's a good movie to watch with friends on Shark Week. So yeah, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, you gotta get Cruel Jaws on Movie Club at some point
I
too.
did.
If did you guys do it? All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was last year's pick
Last
for
year?
Shark Week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That must have been fun. Alrighty. Let's get in to our higher budget shark movie now. 2024's Under Paris. Very fitting, as like Steve said, the Olympics in Paris are starting literally the day this episode releases, opening ceremony. So Under Paris 2024 TVMA rating. So I'm assuming this is a movie that came out in France, like on their sort of sci-fi network or something like that. But to save Paris from a bloodbath, a grieving scientist is forced to face her tragic past when a giant shark appears in the. Steve, you have to help me with this word because I didn't know it. Scene?
La
Scene?
Seine.
La
Scene.
Scene. La Scene.
La Scene?
Do it
La Scene.
slowly.
La Seine.
Oh.
Is that like just what exactly is
It's a body river.
Seine? Okay, just that's it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Nile, right? It's like
Okay.
Le Shark.
Alrighty. Todd, take it away, buddy.
If you want to know about her traumatizing past, well, just stick around because it happens in the first 10 minutes of this film. This film had a 25 million euro budget, people. 25 million. Holy shit. So yeah, we're on a research vessel at the beginning, and they have like a giant pile of fucking trash, right? And they're like a bunch of scientists or a bunch of hippies or a bunch of environmentalists. They're like, going around, things like that. Meanwhile, there was a shark they had tracked earlier, and that shark's in the area. Like, oh, guys, like the shark's here. But wait, that's not our shark. When we tagged her, she was like super small, and now she's like gigantic. What happened? I don't know, man. But you know what we need to do? Stab it with a fucking spear to get some blood samples. That's not going to piss it off at all. So the scientists go out there with a spear. They stab it. Bad move, man. The shark gets fucking pissed. Eats them all. They got cameras on it. They got like their POV shots of them getting eaten. They're screaming. The girl, the main chick, she jumps in the water. I don't know why. Try to save them or something. And then she holds her breath for like fucking 17 minutes down to the fucking depths of the ocean, which I'm like, no way. No fucking way. Her ear is popping from the pressure, is bleeding. And this girl still manages to hold her breath and make it to the surface. Keep the fuck out of here, dude. 3 years later, she's like, she's down in her luck. She's working in an aquarium. These snot-nosed French kids are talking shit to her. Hey, didn't your whole team, didn't they get eaten by sharks? And she's like, no. And then the teacher's like, don't say that. Give me the phone. And then yeah, she's mad. There's this hippie group, meanwhile, that work in this elaborate fucking lair of computers and shit. And they're like, hey, there's a shark in the canals. Let's see it. Let's get that one chick over at the aquarium that knows all about the sharks, and let's have her come over and help. She comes over and help reluctantly, of course, and she's like, there's no way the fucking shark's in here. How's it in here? She's like, look at the motherfucking radar, dude. That's your shark. She's like, all right, I'll reluctantly help. But wait, there's more. We got a group of cops that like just fucking hot dudes, right? They're fucking all jacked and they're all hanging out in boats. They're friendly. They're giving stuff to the homeless people. They're being cool. They're telling people, hey, get out of the water. It's not safe here and shit like that. Meanwhile, there's more. There's a triathlon gonna happen in this thing, right? Where people start swimming eventually and they go on other sports. And the mayor's like, nah, we're having the fucking race. We're having how many people? 1,000? Oh, okay. They're having 1,000 people come here. So we're doing the race. I don't care if there's a shark. And that's where we go. So we have cops, we have research curl, we have the mayor, we have the fucking event going on, we have trauma, we have those stupid rat fuck French kids that are making fun of her. And I hated this movie again. We're 0 for 2 tonight, man. My gosh. When the kills, once again, when the kills were happening, I really liked it. Everything else, I was like, hurry the fuck up. Like, I didn't give a shit about any of the characters. The cop characters were dumb. The hippie characters were stupid. The research girl, I couldn't give a fuck about. Like, I did not like any of the characters. Therefore, I was just rooting for people to get killed. There are some very clever shots, though, man. I really appreciated some stuff that we'll get into later on. But most specifically, when they're underwater in this kind of like weird canal thingy, and there's only one way out, and then the shark gets in there, and then there's like a bloodbath. That is a really fucking cool scene. But that being said, overall, I didn't like this movie, apart from some really cool scenery and that ending. Oh god, it's awful.
Well then. Yeah, man, I honestly did not know what to expect from this movie at all. I had seen like some buzz about it when it first came out. And yeah, I mean overall like it's kind of like it's not a great movie, but man, when the like I agree when the shark stuff is happening, it's fucking pretty great. Like the shark mayhem in this is awesome. But man, like it is a chore to get like that whole I found the middle and the end and then the catacomb shark thing was fucking great. But man, like the whole like middle of the movie was a fucking chore to get through to me. Like it was just like not a lot of interesting stuff was happening. And I agree, the characters just I found none of the characters really to be overly interesting. And then yeah, there's like some really like just dumb choices that are made throughout. The ending is ridiculous, which we'll get into in a bit. But man, like yeah, it's so like man, I enjoyed parts of it a lot, like a lot. Like I'm talking like 5 out of 5, like shark attack scenes and stuff like that. Like really fucking awesome. Like especially that whole catacomb fucking massacre. I wish they explored the catacombs more. Like that, that is my biggest like complaint. Like I wish they just kind of kept to the catacombs like plot and like kind of ignored a lot of the other stuff. But yeah, so I mean, we'll get deeper into it because there's like a lot I do want to discuss. But overall, like decent. Like I've seen, decent, not great. I'll leave it at that for now.
Just out of curiosity, did you guys watch it in English or in French?
Subtitles, like,
English.
yeah,
I watched an English
You watched the
dub.
dubbed version? Okay.
Yep.
yeah.
So I watched in French. Obviously, I speak French. And the first thing I'm gonna say, whoever fucking did the subtitles for this, they were fucking awful. Like, did not convey what was actually going on screen in a satisfying way. So I really didn't like that. And something else, just for context, that I thought was super interesting is a lot of people probably watch this movie and think this is basically a ripoff of Jaws. And in some ways it is, but what they're actually doing is a ripoff of real life. So in real life, La Seine is being used for the swimming in the Olympics. And obviously there are no sharks in there, but apparently it's not up to code for safety standards because it's so fucking dirty. And there are environmentalists who are like saying that they're gonna take a shit in the Seine so that it won't be ready and won't be used because it's
That's
gonna kill
hilarious.
like wildlife and shit like that. So it's based off basically a real event that happens to happen that's going to start on the same day that we're releasing this episode, which is why I'm kind of happy this one won. So yeah, so there's a lot going on just behind the scenes. But as far as the story itself, I am not on the same page as you guys. I fucking love this one. I thought it was so much fun. Now, I'll admit the first half is not as great, you know, but once the second half starts going and the sharks start attacking people, oh my God, I was just like enamored by what was going on. Some of the stuff I loved about the movie, the locations. It really shows Paris in an interesting way. They go to a lot of some of Paris's like interesting districts, stuff like that. You see the Eiffel Tower, you see the catacombs, you see some of the other buildings, some of the museums and stuff like that, which is really cool. The kind of underground environmentalist group, it kind of reminded me of a base in a game called The Division. It looked like they took over a fucking like interesting like important location and just somehow made camp there, which makes no sense because they have probably no money. So how they made it there is beyond me, but it was a cool location to look at. I actually liked the cop characters. I thought they had really good rapport. Now that might have been something that was lost in translation. I thought they were funny together. You know, they had like a cool kind of buddy cop romances between each other. I didn't love like every fucking movie that the main cop and the girl are obviously going to get together. I fucking hate that. Like I'm over that by this point. If you're a guy and a girl, you don't absolutely have to get together after every fucking movie like this. So that was a problem. But when it came to the shark shit, oh my God, so good. The stuff, like you guys said, in the catacombs was fantastic. When the sharks are going after the triathlon swimmers in La Seine, oh my God, so much fun. And I loved the ending. I know it's goofy, doesn't make sense, but it was just like for people who watch wrestling, like WrestleMania this year, just when you thought the final thing had happened, fucking music hits and some whole other element that has nothing to do with sharks comes into it, and I'm like, oh shit, like how much more can it get? And then something else comes in, and I'll say exactly what they are later, but I had a fucking ton of fun with this one.
I'm glad you did. Like I'm never gonna shit on someone because they like something, but like, oh boy, you know what? Maybe it is because dub actors are usually not that good. So I watched the dubbing just because I had other stuff I didn't need to do. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like kills are cool, but hey, you know what? Let's talk about CGI. Like it wasn't bad.
TJ was good.
Yeah,
That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, pretty good.
for the most part, yeah.
The sharks looked really, really good.
A couple of shots were like,
Yeah, man.
but overall it's fine.
Yeah, no, the sharks definitely looked cool. I was not expecting like her to start giving birth to all these like other sharks, which became like an interesting plot
She's
point.
giving herself pregnant, bro.
Yeah, which
Whatever she said.
yeah. Well, I agree with Steve. Like I feel like so like it's interesting. Like you watched it dubbed, I watched it um in French subtitled. And I agree. Like I found myself like not like fully understanding like some of the subtitles while going through like I just like I wasn't connecting with it like I do a lot of other movies. Like I do feel like some of the translation might have got lost in there for sure. That's why I was slightly confused about how she was getting pregnant. What was it photogenesis
Something where
or
she could
something they were
pregnate
calling it or
herself.
something
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah. So the
How?
shark was genetically modified.
Oh,
And
okay.
they were tracking it because they want to see what the effect on the like what the effect was on the shark, right? That's why they wanted to pull some blood because it wasn't behaving the way they had expected. And that the thing that was the first thing that they noticed is that she was getting way too big for, she wasn't supposed to grow that big that quickly, right? And then the other thing is that the females could basically reproduce themselves. Life finds a way, right? And that was the other big issue. So there were really a billion sharks, and they're all going to reproduce the same way because they're all females, and it's basically that's what the whole shark story is.
So those researchers from the beginning, they fucked with the shark?
Yeah, or
To make it like super
their
shark?
crew did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they put that tracker on. I gotta agree with Todd here, though. Like, I feel like she would have been fucking dead from
For sure,
that
dude.
shark. That shark was going fast as fuck
Oh,
Going
yeah.
like
down to
fucking
the
100
bottom of
miles
the
per hour.
ocean.
And she
Like,
was
yeah.
choking. And she was
Yeah.
deep underwater when she was choking. I totally agree. She should have died from
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
scene. And then her ears pop. It doesn't really
The
seem
pressure
to affect
alone,
her.
I feel like would hit your
Yeah.
eyeballs like
Because you
fucking
get like the
suck.
bends
Yeah.
and shit too. Like, so you got a bunch of shit working against you.
It was a
I
cool
was
looking
shocked she was
scene,
still
though.
alive.
I mean,
Like, I thought, oh, we're gonna focus on some other crew, that's gonna reference that crew.
That
I'm
would
like,
have been
what?
really cool if they all died.
Yeah,
that would've
they
been
should have
better.
died. Yeah.
And then like have like an aftermath. Like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
It
That
should have
was
been the
fucking
girl
shark,
on
yeah.
the boat that takes over the rest of
Yeah.
the story, not the ones that are in the fucking water.
Yeah. Why would you jump in the fucking water when your crew's getting like beheaded and shit by sharks? Like, you gotta let this one go, lady.
But how about that Jaws 4 reference? That shit happened in Australia, and it fucking swam to Paris.
Oh god.
Like,
I didn't even
going
catch that. Holy
around
shit.
Africa and fucking like up Europe
It was
into
mad,
Paris, right
Impressive.
next to the person who fucking like that
That's the
basically
one.
built her. Yeah, she fucking followed her.
She's
to
working in an
Paris.
aquarium. How'd she find her on
I
land?
didn't even.
Oh, she went in the canals. That's
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
coming
I
because
to
didn't
you,
even
bitch.
pick that up
yeah,
either.
it's that system that they were using throughout the whole thing to track its movement.
The tracking
They show
system,
the like the red line going from Australia all the way
That's
to fucking
so
Paris.
lame.
Wow, that's
Holy crap.
that must have took a long time.
I know, it's like
And-
17 years later.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was 3 years later, though, right?
It was,
It
I
was,
think, yeah.
And I
Especially
also
when
have
she's pissed.
a
3 year trek.
a Todd gripe that just fucking made me
Oh.
laugh. At one point, there's two cops. They're on one of those like little boat things,
Mhm.
and they're waiting for the people to come out of the catacombs, right? And there's an explosion that happens at one of the holes at the catacombs, and the girl, she goes right into action, right? She puts the fucking boat in like rev, and she does like a circle, and then goes back to the exact
She
same
goes,
spot,
like-
and then turns the boat off, and then looks. I'm like, what the fuck was that for?
I thought I saw it wrong. I'm like, wait, was there like something in the water she had to dodge?
Yeah, I
just
didn't
did- no,
understand-
She just
yeah.
did a circle and then
It
went
made
back
zero
the same.
sense.
But it was
Yeah.
super action packed though. It even had a little soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She
That's
probably
like
asked the
if
director, "Can I do this?"
that's like if a firefighter like hears the alarm, puts on his firefighter suit, goes outside, takes the fire suit off, and then goes into the fire. Yeah, like, it makes no fucking sense. It was it made me laugh though because that was totally a Todd gripe of mine for
Yeah.
this movie.
I love when one of the girls like hugs the shark.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Get away from the
Oh,
shark, you fucking
yeah.
psycho. But
Save
That
the
doesn't end
sharks,
well.
man.
Yeah, so that's
I
one
guess.
thing that I
also
feel
Jaws
that
4
they
reference right there.
that they dropped the ball on. So the activists, I don't know if they were trying to make you sympathize with the environmentalists or make you hate the environmentalists, because on the one hand they're saying stuff that makes sense, like take care of Mother Earth because shit's obviously not going well, but on the other sense they're also saying basically like sharks are more important than people, and then give that character like her due, like big time. They fucking just massacre her. So, and I was kind of curious, like, what the fuck were you trying to, like, what was the message here?
Agreed. It was very
Yeah.
mixed messaging because like they all get fucking massacred too, like in the catacombs, and it's like, okay, are we supposed to being like, is this like a parody or is it? Yeah, so I agree. Very, very mixed messaging there because yeah, like at times it's like very serious where they're actually giving like, sort of like preachy, I guess you could say it, like things about the ocean and all and stuff like that and climate change and everything, and it's like, okay, yeah, okay, these are all like fair points and stuff, and yeah, but then like they all fucking get destroyed, and like she's so fucking dumb when she like she starts hugging the shark and kissing it and stuff, and they're like, get out of the fucking water, and then the insanity ensues, which is, I mean, I think I don't know. I go back and forth on what the best part of this movie is. Like from the Catacombs Massacre is fucking awesome, but then the end is awesome, but then it gets into that, which we'll get into, the absolute like ridiculous ending. So I think I prefer the Catacombs just because it's just fucking the setting is better to me, and then just all the fucking limbs just flying off.
Yeah, that shark's hungry, man.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
what part of the ending are you talking about? Like when they're going after the swimmers?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Got it.
Yeah, which is another massacre. Like
Yeah.
fucking all the swimmers just getting destroyed.
I love that. It's slowly like the fucking swimmers like getting
Yeah,
pulled
it's
down
cool.
and stuff, and people are starting to, what's going on? What's going on? And then the fucking mayor and stuff.
Worst mayor
That's-
ever?
I mean, they're all pretty bad. In all
Yeah.
all these
Why-
movies, the
all
mayor
these
is
movies,
always
yeah.
the worst.
We have shitty mayors in both these
They
movies
gotta
tonight.
make their money, bro.
I mean, it's
Exactly.
true, right? Like
Tourist
it's
money.
all a political like thing.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, all they care about, they don't care about the people. Like all they care about is the money and
Welcome
like
to politics,
and
man.
the optics. Yeah, I know, and it's very topical and true.
Yeah.
Like I mean, look what's
I love
happening
the
now
scene
in
where
America.
she fucking
Yeah.
like shakes someone's hand, and then her little handler there like fucking just spritzes a bunch of fucking cream on her. Like it's good. Yeah.
Do
It's,
we have an example of like a best mayor or president or in
I
that?
mean, the one from Independence Day is probably
Yeah.
the
Okay,
first comes to mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I forgot
Besides him, that motherfucker's a G. Anyone else in like horror slash?
Sometimes in
Politicians
like
making
the
good
small
at-
like the small towns, where they're actually trying to help like whatever fucking
Yeah.
weird disaster is happening in their town,
It's true.
or the sheriff of that town. Yeah, there's some good ones, I think. Not this one for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, now we got to talk
The
about
ending.
the end, which
The sharks
oh,
did
man.
what the Nazis could not: destroy Paris.
Yeah, this is layer after layer. So first we have the sharks are starting to kill everyone that are in La Seine doing the swimming, but then the cops come in and the military is also there, start shooting at the water to kill the sharks, which makes these like unused casings, probably from World War II, shells that are in the water, which causes a series of explosions, which basically fucking just destroys Paris because of all these explosions. But then that's not enough. No, we get a tsunami created by the explosions to not only fucking destroy Paris with explosions, but to destroy with fucking water, where the entire city is now flooded and presumably killed because the sharks are just going to eat everyone in that town. And then, no, that's not it. No. The rest of fucking world gets destroyed by sharks in the credits. So there you go. That woman was trying to stop essentially the apocalypse from happening because the sharks take over like Planet of the Apes. 100 years from now,
Planet
it'll
of the
be
Sharks.
fucking Shark World, and
Cool movie. Write that down.
it's crazy. This movie, like, wow, I was like, damn, that's not only
You
did
get 3 endings for the price of one.
It was
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I mean, we didn't even mention like their whole plan to stop the sharks either was to essentially bomb the catacombs and trap the
Yeah.
sharks in there, which doesn't happen. Which was a really cool scene too, actually, when they go down there and like they light it up and you see like fucking like hundreds of sharks just kind of circling around in like the pink lighting or whatever it was. That was a really cool image. I really like that. As far as the ending goes, I mean, I thought it was very entertaining, like very fucking B movie like ending, like the fucking bombs going off like was ridiculous. Like that like it made me roll my eyes, but I also laughed. I think I audibly laughed when the bombs like surfaced and I'm like, what the fuck? It's crazy. Like is that like a thing like
that
in
is the
Yeah.
thing.
let's say
Yeah.
like there are still like bombs down there allegedly?
Yeah, and they
There's all across Europe is like that still.
Yeah, and they
Okay.
telegraphed that at the beginning of the film because there are people who go metal fishing, which is a real thing. I've watched like TikTok videos
Yeah,
of people who
Those
do
are
that.
cool, man.
Yeah,
I watched
they're
it
really
too.
cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole first scene is basically they find a bomb and they like kind of close off that area and shit like that. So they do telegraph this ending, but yeah, definitely I don't think there's that many bombs that are just like
Right.
There's not
unexploded.
a
in the
million.
thing. But
million bombs.
yeah, it
I
made for
mean,
an entertaining.
See, I didn't know that. So I mean, I guess makes a little more sense and is a little cooler, I guess. But still, like it's crazy. I mean, they weren't afraid to just fucking go just like to me, it's just like a B movie ending. Like it's just ridiculous, but it was entertaining as fuck. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, this is pretty awesome. Like although like cheesy, it was cool. Like, it was cool to see all the explosions, all the fucking shark mayhem going on and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, okay, like I'm on board with it. It's cool. So I didn't hate it, but was it ridiculous? Absolutely.
Yeah, I hated it, man. It was it was rough. There, there's like there's got to be like 100,000 fucking bombs that are unexploded to destroy the entire city. And like the fishermen, the fishermen that catch the bomb in the beginning is like, throw your line back out there, man. There's literally like 1,000 shells right in front of you. Like, let's figure it out. But for them to go off so easily, it's so ridiculous. After when's World War II? Like 80 years ago, and none of these have gone off. And it takes one fucking shark to set off all of them. Give me a fucking break. But yeah, it was. They went there. They definitely went there. So
That's
yeah.
why I appreciate it so much because they went there. Like movies like this, you would think the two fucking people would save the day. They'd make out on the boat as they like fucking drive away, and maybe one shark surfaces at the end to like promote a sequel. No, they're like, fuck it, we're just ending the world in this fucking sequence, and I appreciate it a lot for that. And then they also explain how they got the mayor, because the mayor was obviously on land watching this unfold. So how are they gonna? She's got to get killed at some point, and it's because of the explosions and the fucking water going up, and you see her getting eaten. And yeah, I had such a blast with this one.
I think we could have gotten a little more shark mayhem towards the end too. Like, I know we get it in the Saint Lassane, but when, like, I think they could have had a really maybe it was budgetary, but I think they could have even went fucking cooler. Like, once the fucking water rushes in, like fucking having the sharks just fucking eating people like in downtown Paris and stuff like that. Like, that would have been really fucking cool. But man, like, I feel like the ending is extremely unresolved. And are they gonna plan a sequel like now, or is it just like, I mean, I didn't watch the end credits, Steve, so I didn't see the whole thing that you're talking about there. But like, I just feel like, okay, I mean, I guess it's just a really dark ending, but I just feel like I needed some sort of resolution, and it just kind of leaves it's a little open to me.
Yeah, so the ending is just basically a graphic of like Europe, and the map showing the sharks like spreading throughout all of the waterways within Europe and taking over. It doesn't actually show any mayhem, but if they do a sequel, if they start to film with like basically it's like a worldwide, like all the sharks killing people in all the major cities, and then you have kind of like whoever, like almost like Waterworld, like whoever has like a little bit of land left trying to take the world back or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities with the sequel, so yeah, I think they couldn't go further. They already fucking did enough, I think, for this movie, and left it open for maybe a potential sequel.
Since you loved it, Steve, do you want a sequel?
I do. Absolutely I do, because it was fun. Like there's so much shark mayhem, and I think there's a lot of really interesting ways they can go, where a little bit like I guess Jurassic World in a sense, like it at first it was like a contained kind of issue that now is spread out throughout the world, and they can kind of do something really interesting with that premise. And if they keep it like this pace and maybe just dial back a little bit on the stupid human like drama shit, I think they can make something really special.
Planet of the Sharks. There you go. Write it up.
Yeah, exactly.
You already speak French. There you go.
Yeah.
Fun fact as well, the there are two species of sharks that can reproduce asexually without a mate. So there you have it.
Interesting.
Yeah. They said at least two species of sharks have had pups without mating. So
Oh,
there is some sort of factual thing in there. Also, the shark is named Lilith, which is named after a mythological she demon. So there you have it as well.
very cool.
Yes. And the final bit of trivia from IMDb. The scene featuring Lilith swimming up the river towards the swimmers with a fishing net attached to her fins and yellow barrels trailing in her wake, of course, is a nod to Jaws. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think we pretty much covered it all, right, gentlemen?
Sure.
So let's rate this sucker. Yeah, man, I think this movie is good at times, and at other times it's a bit of a bore. So I think when the shark mayhem is happening, it's fucking awesome. Like, to me, 5 out of 5. Like, 5 out of 5 shark attack scenes. The beginning, pretty solid. The catacomb scene, 5 out of 5. The ending, as ridiculous as it is, to me, is like 5 out of 5 shark. Like, as far as shark movies go. But Everything in between to me was a bit of a bore, a bit of a chore to get through. So would I watch this again? I would. Like with the right people and stuff, like people who like shark movies. Totally. I think there's definitely a lot of fun to be had here. And I would totally be on board with a sequel because I think they could improve. So yeah, I mean, I give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's fun, it's solid, it's one of the better as far as like the 3 shark movies we talked about tonight is the best one in my opinion. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I'm not really there for all the reasons you mentioned. Just I hold the negatives a little bit higher, and I think it drags down the film significantly because, like you said, the kills are fucking cool. Like they're really cool, man. And sharks are like my biggest fear. So to see like there's a scene in the beginning too where they turn around and the shark's like floating, just staring at him. Terrifying. Like I hate that visual. Let's not do that again. But unfortunately, like I didn't like the characters, like I said, and that really holds this film down because there's a lot of character in it. You know, pretty cool fucking artwork, poster, right? But overall, I'm gonna be consistent with my Ghost Shark score and give this one a 2 out of 5.
And I liked it a lot. You know, like it's not a great film by any means. It's not going to make my top 10 of the year or anything like that. But I had a fucking blast watching it, and I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. It's a good one. I like people should check it out.
Cool. One other thing we didn't really mention, and I just thought about while we were getting to the end here, was the like shark death scenes. Like this, I felt like they were like pretty authentic, like the screaming, like that they were like you could like feel the pain, like when they were getting eaten by the sharks. And I feel like a lot of shark movies don't do that. Like it was just, like I felt like they really conveyed like the pain that the people were in while the shark was chomping on them, to be quite horrific at times and being like, oh fuck, like you could feel it. So that's one other thing
Yeah.
I think this movie did pretty well.
And I also think they used amputees for a lot of the scenes
Yeah.
because it didn't look like a CGI limbs. It looked
Sure.
like just like an actual cut off limb with like, you know, practical effects hanging off it. And I think that was effective as well because it looked good. Like there was a lot of mayhem, especially in the catacombs. There's
Mhm.
fucking limbs all over the place. People are losing their heads and their bodies, and they're also not afraid to kill off main characters in this. Like they
Yeah.
fucking just
True.
plow through a lot of the main cast. So that's good for them.
Cool.
What's Letterboxd think about these movies?
Ooh, Todd, you're always on it.
Oh well,
And
try.
I'm not. All right, Letterboxd. We got the Last Breath hasn't been released yet, so you'll have to wait for that Letterboxd review. But let us know. I'm interested to see what other people think of that one, especially you, Todd. What do you think, Steve? Will Todd like The Last Breath better than these 2 movies tonight?
No, because of the shark attacks aren't nearly at this level.
Yeah, they're weaker compared. I would say.
Still
Yeah,
gotta watch
agreed.
Long Legs too. Need to get on that.
Definitely.
Yes. All right. Ghost Shark. The people do agree with Todd. Currently sitting at a 2.1 out of 5
Yes.
over on Letterboxd. So right up on there, under there with Todd. And then under Harris, currently sitting at a, also pretty much agreeing with Todd, sitting
2
at
for
a
2.
2.2 out of 5 over on Letterboxd. So I feel like when that first came out, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's like the best shark movie of the year." I don't know if that was just the marketing team really flooding social media with that one, but yeah, it does not seem to have very good ratings. Even like my friend ratings aren't very good for Under Paris. I think me and Steve might have them the highest out of everyone else on there. So yeah, but I think I don't know. I think to me, like the shark subgenre is probably one of the weakest. Like, there's just not a lot of great shark movies. Like, I think Jaws perfected it, and nothing has really come too close since.
Yeah, it's hard to follow up that.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's it for Shark Week, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed our annual Shark Week episode. Always a fun episode to do. Next week, what do we got, Steve?
Okay, I promise this time. Okay, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I forgot about
The
that.
Next Generation.
I did
Wow.
too.
Take like 4. So,
I watched it like 2 weeks ago, man. Maybe I have to rewatch it.
yeah.
All right.
So hopefully the stars.
I thought I had a
this time.
dream that we covered that. We didn't cover that?
No.
Not yet.
Wow.
It's been like 3 different times we were supposed to cover it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so go and check out Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation for next week. It is like a pretty good summer type movie, I think, for the dog days of summer. I have not seen it in forever. This was my pick, and I'm excited to revisit it. I'm sure, as well as Stephen Todd as well. So it's currently not available free anywhere, but it's a really cheap rental, like on Amazon and stuff like that. So check it out for next week. It's a fucking wild movie if you've never seen it. Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey's essentially debuts. So yeah, check it out for next week. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast at gmail.com. But of course, the absolute best way to keep up the podcast is our Discord, completely free to join. And yeah, it's linked over on our Instagram, or email us and we will get you a link to join that Discord. Ton of channels to go through. Movie Club every single month, which is coming up this Friday. They will be watching The Reef over there, so join us for Movie Club this Friday. Steve posts a link in the Discord right before the movie is ready to start, so join us for Movie Club this Friday over on our Discord. Also, don't forget, leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That helps the podcast a lot. Or if you want to support the podcast, you can buy merch, tpublic.com, the Horror Squad Podcast. That is also linked over on our Instagram. And I think that's important dates. October 11th through the 13th. Do not forget our event with the cast of Hocus Pocus. It's just a bunch of Halloween weekend. Head to itsjustabunchofhalloween.com for all details regarding ticket sales and all that. We hope to see you there. That's it, folks. We'll see you next week for Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. See ya.
Hopefully. Bye.
We'll see. Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad Podcast, where today we have 3 very special guests to promote the new film, The Last Breath, which comes out in theaters and VOD on July 26th. We have director Joachim Haden and 2 of the stars of the film, Kim Spearman and Jack Parr. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey. Hello. Thank you.
My first question, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about what the movie is all about?
Sure. Maybe I should take this one. It's about a group of friends who arrive at a beautiful island, and the same day, one of the characters, played by Jack, Noah, has, together with his old mentor, Levi, played by Julian Sands, they have discovered an old shipwreck from the Second World War. And after a bit of debating, the group of friends decide that it's worth the risk of going for a dive inside of this unexplored wreck. And once they get into the wreck, they discover that there is a shark inside the wreck. And
Yeah.
there we go.
There you go. So this question is for you, Joachim. One of the impressive feats this movie achieves is that a lot of the film takes place underwater. What were some of the unique challenges with undertaking something like that?
Well, I had the fortune that I've actually made one underwater film previously called Breaking Surface that came out a couple of years ago. For that movie, the key to success was that we could have a very, very long prep. I think we had about 1.5 years worth of prep on that film. And then when this film, the producers of this film came to me, it was quite close to when they wanted to shoot. So what I could do was that I brought a number of key collaborators from the previous movie. The underwater DP, the dive and water supervisor, and then also basically the whole dive team that both of those guys had worked with before. So we could shortcut the prep process quite a bit by sort of recycling some of the key crew from the previous movie. But then every movie obviously has its unique challenges. And on this film, I think the 2 things that were new to me a little bit was that it was a more complicated set build for this one. Obviously, I didn't build the set myself, but as a director, you're involved in all the pieces of the puzzle. And the set build was quite complicated for this one. And then the second thing, and this sort of throws it over to Jack and Kim here, was that on this movie there was a lot more physical action, call it stunts if you will, but because so much of the performances is in the body language of the actors, you can't really just use stunt doubles because it's convenient. So in the movie, 99% of all the diving is the main cast doing their own stunts. And I think that was probably the main challenge for Kim and Jack, I would assume.
Right, which is actually leads me to my next question to Kim and Jack. You both did a great job of conveying emotions despite being restricted by being in scuba gear. As actors, what do you do to prepare for a role like this and to overcome challenges associated with this film?
Oh, thank you. That's really, really nice to hear that it came across. I think we spent a lot of time prepping as a group as well and like delving into our characters. We spent a lot of time sort of rehearsing before we even got in the water, which really helped. But I love when taking on a new character is doing as much backstory as you can and sort of cross-referencing it with your your castmates and how their characters interact with you is just, yeah. So that also really, really helps. But it also really helps that it is also incredibly dark down there in that set that they built. So yeah, the scary factor was kind of already built in.
Yeah, I agree with Kim. Very similar. You know, the emotions become easier when you actually really care for the other cast members. We did some really prep work, and thanks to Joachim for this, we did this amazing kind of prep day, the Lego day. And then the cast were spending a lot of time in our own time, downtime at lunches, evenings, having meals together, talking about how do these characters know each other and why is that character there if he doesn't like this guy or whatever. So we kind of worked a lot of that stuff out so that when, you know, things did go wrong down there, it does make our jobs easier that we actually do care for each other. So that helps, you know, and just knowing our characters well and knowing the script well. So yeah, appreciate you saying that. It's kind that it came across.
Yeah, absolutely it did. So a question is, so creature features are popular among horror fans, and sharks in particular seem to have triggered a visceral response from viewers. What is it about sharks that you feel really scares the audience?
I think they're unpredictable.
Yeah.
That's my vote.
In the depths, the lurking, like kind of like something hunting you a little bit. Yeah, I think for me, I remember when I was a kid, I went on that Universal Studios Jaws ride when I was younger, and I think ever since that did it for me.
Yeah, and they just look terrifying, don't they? They just look. I mean, they've got pointy noses. They're really fast. Got sharp teeth. Like if you could create a monster, you know, a fictional monster, that's a pretty good one. You know, it's like that crocodiles. I mean, like who's not scared of them? And so many people are like, oh, you know, there's not that many shark attacks on humans, and the amount of shark attacks I've seen on Instagram, I'm like, I disagree actually. I've seen sharks attack a lot of people.
Right, absolutely. And what is the one thing you think that makes this movie stand out in a sea of other shark films?
I think it's the setting that we are in this sort of inside this maze, if you will, of this World War II wreck. And to have a shark out in the open ocean, scary enough, but when you then stick your characters and the shark inside a maze of rusted metal, that is the thing that makes it special, and that's not something I've seen before. And that's the thing that really drew me to the project when the producers approached me. It's like immediately when I heard that the script was about these 5 characters being trapped inside this old wreck with the shark, immediately I got images in my head, and that's the thing for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, to put on that is it's pitch black. Like Joachim said, most shark movies in the open water, you can see them. Once you've seen the shark so many times, you know, you kind of get the picture and you get used to it. I love that it's so dark and you kind of miss, you know, most of the sharks at some points. And a lot of comments I've been getting is that, you know, it feels more like a thriller and the sharks are just a bonus. And I love that comment because it's like, it's already scary running out of oxygen, being trapped in a tank, in a shipwreck. So the sharks are just a bonus, which I love that about the film.
And one thing I absolutely have to mention is, unfortunately, we lost a great actor in Julian Sands last year. Can you talk about what it was like working with Julian on this film?
He was
Yeah.
amazing. He was, oh, sorry, go after you, Jack.
Go on, Kim, you go.
I was just going to say that he was very involved in everything and really put himself into like 100% into everything, even if he wasn't really needed on set, particularly like someone could have thrown a line, he's not on camera, he still wanted to be off camera giving us that line and making sure he gave us everything in that moment to give us the best shot. He was very generous with his performances, and he gave like a lot on camera. He was also just such a positive, like complimentary person. Like when we were in the prep processes of and we did our first table read, he was just so enthusiastic and positive, and it's such a lovely presence to have around on set.
Yeah, I agree. I've not worked on a ton of movies with film stars, so I didn't really know how it went. I didn't know if he'd turn up to the table read. I thought he'd, go back to his trailer as soon as the scene was done or his bits were done. But he was the total opposite. He was there at table reads. He'd say, "Oh, email me. Let's go to rehearsal. Let's do rehearsals, just me and you." And I was like, "Oh my God!" And then, at the table read, he'd say, "You're my boy. You're my boy," because he kind of, plays the father figure in the film for me. So what I learned from him was, never lose that spark. Like he was still so excited about the work, and it was like it was his first job. He just was so excited about it, and he wanted to spend time rehearsing and going through the backstory. And I was like, whoa, I'm so amazed by this guy. So he really made us feel welcome and reassured us, and definitely reassured me. And he knew that we were young and up and coming. So he would constantly say, like, your American accent's really good. I really believe that, you're American. I'd be like, thanks so much, Julian. It was just really
Yeah.
sweet. And it
Yeah.
just,
No, I know that he loved so much being a part of this little ensemble here, because to some degree this is a chamber piece. There are six actors, six characters that are sort of locked in. That's the entire story. And even though Julian has a long and distinguished career, um, he was just so enthusiastic and happy and 100% engaged in our little shark movie. And I think that's something to that we can all take away, to just, like Jack said, keep that spark, keep that enthusiasm, and never sort of lose the fire. And then I think I think he also, there were a couple of small things that I think he also really enjoyed doing this movie. It was, as I understand it, one of the very few, if not possibly the only time, that he was actually allowed to act in his native Yorkshire accent. I think he put a little bit of a spin on it, on the accent, because the character has obviously been an expat for X number of years. But he was, I think, for the first time, allowed just to act in his own accent. And then I think he, at a very fundamental level, connected with this character who is sort of the weathered man of the sea, because in real life, and unfortunately this was maybe part of his undoing, but in real life he was the weathered man of the mountains. And I think he somehow just connected with that part of the character. There was some, I think he put a bit of himself into it. Obviously that's something you expect every actor to some degree do, but I think he really had some special understanding about this character Levi as this weathered man of the sea.
Right. And I asked before, what made this film stand out in a sea of shark movies, and having seen it, I think it does stand out, and I urge people to check it out when it releases. That's The Last Breath on July 26th in theaters on VOD. Thank you very much for doing this, and I think people are going to really dig this film.
Cool.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.